and congratulations for making it to day 9. Almost there, amazing. So, what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to talk about planning, and we're going to talk about some of the challenges that we can face when we're working towards our goal. Now, before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you that, yesterday Hannah talked about beliefs and switching some of the beliefs that, don't really support you. And I just really wanted to emphasize that really takes conscious effort from your part to do that every single day, because so often we have these beliefs and we've had them for a really long time, and so it's not always that easy to just get rid of them. So that really requires practice and effort from you. And when you do that each and every day, I promise you that you're going to get very, very far. Now back to today. So what are we doing? So we've really worked on this big vision of yours, this thing that you want your life to be about, and had all of these different goals, and then you picked the most important one. That one goal that really sets you on fire. Now that goal, now what? So from that goal, we're going to start moving into planning. And why are we doing that? Because we want you to move into action. And in order to be able to do that, you need a plan. Now, this action, that's really where the rubber hits the road, because otherwise your plan, your visions, your goals are all going to sit there. But this is about you really making a plan for how you're going to build, put it into action and really go and do it. So what is planning really about? Well, planning is really simply just about breaking things down into small actionable pieces. So, if you have that big, massive goal, well, maybe not even so massive, but if you have that goal, it's about really thinking, what needs to happen in order for me to get there? And looking at it as a set of sub-goals, like a set of milestones that you need to meet along the way in order for you to get there. So in the journal today, we've got an exercise to start, to get you to think about this. And we want to have you grab a pile of Post-it notes, because I love Post-it notes. And what you're going to do is write down all the actions that you can think of. Just brainstorm it. They're free flow. Big, small, doesn't really matter. Just write down whatever you think needs to happen in order for you to get to that goal. Now you'll have all of these Post-it notes. Now, once you've got those, then you start thinking around, okay, so what are the skills that I need, possibly, in order to be able to do that? Or maybe what kind of resources do I need? Now, that can be money, that could also be support from others. Have a think about that. And then once you have all of that, you start looking at those Post-it notes and start thinking about what needs to happen first. So you put them in a chronological order to see, okay, if I do this, then I do that. So let me give you an example, because examples always work best, right? So imagine if my big goal was to climb K2 in Nepal, which it isn't because I'm afraid of heights, but imagine it is. There's a couple of things that need to happen before I can actually even think about doing that. So one thing could be, I need to buy my ticket. I need to get the right equipment. I need to do a course in climbing. And I might even need to get the right permits to do that. Now, think about those permits, for instance. Well, I'll probably need to dish out some money for that. So what are the financial resources needed for that? So this is what you're going to be doing. Now, just have some fun with it. Try and, not overthink straight away, but just write down everything you think of. And then, you start putting it in the right order. Now, don't get worried about this. This is, it doesn't all have to be right straight away. Planning, goals, all of that, you can always review them, you can always adjust them. And just remember that there's multiple ways that, lead to the end goal. You'll learn as you go along, and that's totally fine. So another thing I wanted to talk about today was some of the challenges that you're going to face, when you're working towards those goals. Now, one of the big challenges can be feeling overwhelmed. Overwhelmed basically means I'm just seeing all this work that needs to happen in order for me to get there. I don't even know where to start. I want to do too much too soon, and consequently, I don't do anything. Planning is going to be a great tool in this because it really helps you to break things down in smaller steps so that you can, just tick off the boxes one by one, and slowly but surely you're going to move closer. Another one is procrastination. Now, I know that many of you are going to have dealt with this. So did I in doing these videos, for instance. I totally did everything else I needed to do for this challenge and this journey before I started doing these videos. And the really simple reason was that I was actually really scared of doing these videos because I've never done anything like this before. And I thought I was going to totally freeze in front of the camera. Now, the thing with procrastination is there's always something behind it, really. There's something that we're worried about. And a lot of the time it's, I either don't know what to do, I either don't know how to do it, or I'm just really scared of doing it because I'm afraid I'm gonna suck at it, I'm gonna fail. Now, once you figure out what the real thing is that you're worried about, it makes it easier for you to try and solve that. So if I don't know how to do something, well then I can go about looking for the solution, or maybe asking for help. If I'm afraid to fail and I'm just really worried about it, then it's about breaking things down into really small steps and just try and take that first step, because actually a lot of the time, once we get started, once the wheel get into motion, we're actually going to be okay. Another thing that happens with so many of us is that we get started, we're so excited, we're all gung-ho, and then after a while, motivation does this, it goes down. So one of the things, we get so overwhelmed, so busy in the grind, that we forget why we're actually doing all of this. So this is why it's super important to keep on reviewing your goals, seeing, does it still fit? Is this still what I want, and why, right? Because that why, that big why, is going to continue to keep on driving you, to keep on pushing you to work towards those goals. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, the lack of support that sometimes we can feel when we're changing, we're going after our goals. And this is something we already spoke about when we talked about vulnerability on day 3. Sometimes the people around us don't always understand, why we're changing and why that's even necessary. What's critical here is that you find the people who do support you and bring those into, talk to them, tell them about what you're doing, tell them about why you're doing it. And you'll actually see that once you do that, it'll be much easier to continue. Now, one of the key tools in all of this is to create accountability. Now, accountability happens when, we tell somebody else about what we're doing, and somehow we feel a little bit more motivated to actually go and do it. Now, you could even think about creating an accountability partner. Now, that can be, a family member, a friend, a coach like Hannah or myself, somebody who can help you to work towards your goals, who you check in with, and who can support you. And last but not least, don't forget to celebrate. It's so often we forget all the things that we've already done along the way, and we're just focused on the future, but it's really, really important to give ourselves a pat on the back and, sometimes give ourselves a reward when we've reached these milestones in between, and not just at the end. Because some days you are going to feel like, this is really hard work. Reward yourself for that. It's totally okay. Now, the thing to remember with any of these challenges, we all have them. It doesn't make you weaker. It doesn't make you, worse at goal setting or any of that stuff. It's just reality. Now, the key here is just to really understand what those challenges are going to be for you and how you can, think about solving those. That's it for today. So go do your meditation so you're in the zone to do this planning work, and then go to the journal and have some fun with it. And I think what you're actually going to find is that once you start breaking things down into smaller steps, you're actually going to get really excited, because you're going to see that achieving those dreams, the things that you really want, is actually really, really doable. So have fun with that. We'll be back tomorrow for the last day. And we'll be talking to you about making better choices. Making better choices is really about, setting up a set of rituals that are going to support you in connecting to yourself and really staying focused on your goals for the remainder of the year. So that's it for me today. Wish you a fantastic day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.